So I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening. Thank you for coming out tonight. Um, it's an important evening as we are continuing our planning process for Portland's sesquicentennial, 150 years, 1869 to 2019. We actually started this planning with a steering committee, our Team 150, in July of this year. That team is led by Jim Barnes, our mayor. Uh, Also joining that team are Kathy Parsons, who has a strong and connected history to our community, myself, and Mandy Johnston, who is one of our city council members. And then we're also joined by the Historical Society, because how do you put together a sesquicentennial without your Historical Society? And the three folks from that group joining us are Mike Judd, Marjorie Briggs, and Margaret Sheffer, who's here this evening. And then we are also partnering with the Chamber of Commerce, represented by Fawn Morris and Sarah Badgerow. And Marjorie is joining us too. So that's our Team 150. We also have with us tonight Corey Grimmick. She is with the library. She's our chairperson for our DDA Main Street Board of Directors. So we'd like to welcome all you and take a moment to have you give us introductions of who you are, what organizations you belong to within the community, and what your interest is here tonight. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to create an entire year of events and programs with you. Obviously, being a team of about a dozen people, we can't do more than the about 30 events that we have decided to take on together. Each person on the team has accepted responsibility for anywhere from 1 to 4 programs or events throughout the year. And we want to share with you what those are, which we'll get into later in the discussion. But also, there were lots of ideas that came out that we thought were great, that we don't have the manpower to put on and take care of. And finally, you're all mostly part of organizations. We learned about that as you gave your introductions. And those organizations have regular annual events. What we'd love to see is you finding ways to take one of those annual events and add in a sesquicentennial or 150 year theme to that event or component to that event. So let's just continue our talk. And this is best served when it's a group discussion, so ask questions as you go along. First off, it's a good opportunity to look at the sesquicentennial, which occurred in 1969. And the history of Portland is that from 1869 to 1969, Portland was a village. From there, it became a city. So for the last 50 years, we've been the city of Portland. And looking back at that centennial celebration, we want to recognize what was great then. We'd like to put a stronger focus on the last 50 years. So it's important to make 150 years memorable. Those who attended the centennial have memories to carry with them for that 50 years. And we would like the folks who attend the events throughout our year to have great memories of that for the next 50 years. So that would be till 2069. We would also like to incorporate today's resources and media. In 1969, I mean, there weren't computers, there weren't smartphones. There's lots of ways for us to interact and connect to people and help people feel connected to us today that we didn't have then. So we want to bring those resources in. And keeping in mind that we are in search of photographers, videographers, writers, and historians to help us capture the entire year. And those are plural because certainly this will be mostly a volunteer effort, and we can't expect one person, one photographer, to capture the nearly 30 events that we have, and then probably with this group here, there's up to another 30 events to fill the year with. So 60 events throughout the year, photograph, edit, and record, or videograph, edit, and record, and writers to write about all those. So we need all of the people that you know who might be connected to or volunteer with putting those things together and recording them for future people to look back. So why celebrate? Um, and also, how do you participate and why are you here tonight? We're looking at a year-long celebration with our community organizations. Again, we talked about that you have regular annual events, and we'd love to have you incorporate 150-year focus into those. What we'll do on our end is help you promote those and make sure that they're part of our website and Facebook pages that we'll develop for this. And we'd love it if you could create new or a special event and name a date within the calendar that works for your organization. So if you had, something that would help make Portland's 150 years special and unique, and your group can pull that off, we want to again assist with making that well known to everyone and helping you bring people in and getting your organization recognition for that. Most of all, we need volunteers to join us in to help on the celebration weekend. We will have one culminating weekend and help to make that spectacular. So what we've developed so far is our domain name. Kathy Parsons will be working on putting the website together, helping us build a Facebook page, and helping us put some apps together for specific pieces of the year. The domain name is portland150.org. So you'll be looking for things of that nature coming up soon, hopefully this fall, certainly by the first of the year. We have been securing and planning promotions. Obviously, we'll want to reach everyone on several different platforms. So social media is our first hit, but then we reach out through print ads, through radio, television, and billboards. And a lot of those things need to be planned and paid for well in advance. Our celebration weekend date is September 20th, 21st, and 22nd of 2019. So please set that weekend aside and we'll discuss further in what the events and activities are that we have planned for that weekend. There are work plans in progress. Work plans are basically put together by the person that says they will lead a event, and it includes a budget of what they think they might need for that, as well as each task and step along the way so that it comes together in the end. And here we are again, photographers, videographers, writers, and historians. We need to develop those relationships. So I'm a firm believer in that the more people you ask, the more likely we'll have these folks come forward and say, I have an interest and please contact me when you know of events coming up and I'll see if I can fit them into my schedule. So Eric Proctor has been a long time supporter of the Main Street program and of Portland, and I'm sure he'll be very involved. But again, we certainly can't ask one person to do it all. So plans that are in production this far that will be put into place throughout 2019 are a parade of homes and an upstairs downtown tour. We'll be developing signs that are temporary but durable to place throughout the downtown, marking historic locations and information. We'll have a historic museum put together by the Historical Society. This is a very large project for them. And they expect to launch that the first weekend of May and run it through celebration weekend with regular Saturday hours. So that'll take a lot of volunteers on their part too. Um, we would love to have someone coordinate, or may already be having some people putting their feelers out for a book on the last 50 years of Portland. And that would be a companion book and complementary to the 100-year book that we currently have. We're hoping for a 2019 printed calendar to sell and fundraise with. Um, that would feature 12 historic photos for 12 months that represent the historic things that, or buildings or places that have occurred in the last 150 years, as well as throughout photos within dates and maybe a little description of those on historic dates within Portland. We hope to have a scavenger hunt through town and have that run all summer with the once you complete the scavenger hunt by taking photos and adding those to your scavenger hunt album of where of the places and sites that are part of that, then you can enter to win with your photos at Celebration Weekend. We also hope to have a Portland passport where folks take a selfie at identified locations to fill their virtual passport, and full passports can be entered to win another prize category. We're working for app development for independent walking tours, so that can be it can be a brochure that somebody can pick up and have as a souvenir, or they can have it as an app on their phone and come back to it frequently until they've completed their walking tour. Other plans in production that we hope to engage different organizations and groups in throughout the community are farming through the ages. Perhaps we can work with baiters, and if there are any farmers or farm groups that would like to plug into that, we'd be more than happy to talk with them. We're looking to do a mayor exchange day with another community celebrating their 150 years, and it's surprising there are a few that are not too far away from us. We would like to work on restoration of the Opera House sign and have a reveal for that. We've recently discovered that there are different parts of that sign located in different places, and that we believe most of it is available to reconstruct it. Parks and Rec has agreed to put on a canoe and kayak trip with a historic flair. We will be working with, or the Friends of the Red Mill are working on a book regarding their pavilion. Very excited that the VFW is celebrating their 75th anniversary, and we certainly believe that there will be many events surrounding that, and we want to support them in that. The Chamber of Commerce is looking to bring back Wine the Walk with a historic flair. And then for our events that we put on, Beer Fest on the Bridge and Holiday Fest, we'll be adding 150-year components to those events. We'll also have commemorative items in coordination with local merchants. So plates, Christmas ornaments, medals that can be duplicated or used with keychains, shirts, hats, socks, mugs, and glasses, all those things that we like to pick up as mementos. So speaking of what specifically our weekend plans are, Friday night we had intended to have that centered around Portland High School and a local home game. We did find out that conference games are scheduled out years in advance and can't be changed, because that's just a big issue with the Michigan Athletic Association. So we think it's fabulous anyway. So on Friday night, our football team will be away, but our marching band will be home. We're hoping to work with the band director to do a presentation that evening of 50 years of music history. We will have a hot air balloon glow, not at the stadium, but maybe at Powers Park. And there may be other events revealed for that evening that might be related. And then Clarence B. Kelland, who was a local author and whose books were made into movies. We're looking to have an introduction about him and show one of his movies at the library that night. Also, Complex City Brewing has agreed to work on a special release brew um, that'll be released that Friday night. We're going to skip to Sunday because Saturday is a full day and needs its own page for us to be able to tell you about it. But on Sunday, we are planning a farm to table dinner with 150 seats, and we would look for actors or people to represent different eras or decades to be seated throughout the different tables. So you can have a conversation with someone from another period or era. We'll be having live music. We're looking to have a hymn sing with community churches. We're very glad that PAMA is here tonight, Portland Area Ministerial Association. We'll look for an orchestra performance that Sunday. Hopefully a bake-off, scratch only desserts, and then those desserts, working with the making sure the health department's okay with that, or that we follow all of their rules, that those desserts are then available for the farm to table dinner, along with a little something and note about the person who created them. And then finally, a vintage baseball association game. What's better on a Sunday afternoon than a nice baseball game? So. And then Saturday, celebration weekend plans are a 5K race. Again, our Parks and Rec department has agreed to put that on. And that can be a run walk. And again, there should be some historic flair added to that. Certainly a parade. We're including the high school marching band, the a high wheeler bike show, classic automobiles and tractors, and more. And then after the parade, the high wheeler bike demonstration. We'll clear some space for them within our downtown area. We're looking to have a car show, walking tours of the downtown with actor docents, and a brochure for that self-guided part, antique roadshow, a whole kids activity section, so a petting zoo, painting or chalking Portlandopoly game right into the street, so you have live players, and people can tag in and out for that. And then Portland Playful Streets. We're hoping to work with businesses and church and youth organizations. We'll have to have games, things like Cat's Cradle, making a corncob doll, hopscotch, jump rope, hula hoop, twister, washers, tic-tac-toe games that are accomplished by getting frisbees or a ball in a bucket, cornhole and giant bubbles, maybe more. Again, depending on how many people we can pull together to be a part of it. We'll look to have live music, karaoke, and dancing in the evening, and then a fireworks show. And throughout, we would like to have food offerings such as hot dogs, apple pie, nostalgia carnival, and certainly cider because it'll be the time of year for that. So, so those were our plans, and we just wanted you to know what they were so you could join in with us if you'd like to, but also so that we're not all duplicating things that each other are doing, each other are participating in. Other ideas that came about as we planned, but we weren't able to have the resources of a person or a group to put them together are a facial hair growing contest, specifically for men. And they would win on celebration weekend. So there would be some recording of that they had a clean shaven face at a certain date and a demonstration on that celebration weekend. And then similar to that, but not for women only, because certainly men did have their periods in our 150-year history where long hair was fashionable, and it is again some today, but to grow your hair longer. So again, a certain length that's measured officially by maybe like a stylist in the area. And then on celebration weekend to come with a style of a decade or era and have a contest for that with judging at the celebration. We'd love to have a hospitality center if someone here tonight or someone who's listening to this would like to put that together with their group or organization. 150 year of costumes, 150-year coronation ball or cotillion, a variety show, a blacksmith, a giant puzzle photo collage that would span the 150 years, and then pieces will be placed throughout Portland. On the back of the pieces, it would say where to return those pieces to, and make it part of the puzzle, and that earns you an entry to win a prize. Old-fashioned sidewalk sales would be great to have. And again, these are ideas. We don't have anyone to pick them up and run with them. So these are just ideas for your groups and your organizations if you want to do these things as part of something you already have going on, a regular annual event, or if you would like to create an event on another evening or day during the year. So we'd look for reproduction of the Centennial play, or maybe parts of that, and adding in significant facts relative to the past 50 years. A real big portion of the Centennial was the medicine show, as well as that Centennial play. And perhaps we can bring the medicine show back. I think that actually traveled to other cities and locations, and that might be something that we can enter into parades or events around us leading up to our celebration weekend, to let people know to come and join us on that September weekend. Carriage rides, or it's the right time of year for hay rides. Portland was known for its Portland Polar Plunge for many years recently. So maybe someone would like to pick that up and have that come back in 2019. A kickball tournament, a circus, a turtle race or a grease pig scramble, a community picnic with an ice cream social, visit a farm day, to see the farm in operation, or perhaps a ladies' luncheon or tea, and a Through the Ages fashion show. So those were our ideas. We also are going to need fundraisers to cover the expenses of advertising, promotion, rentals, entertainment, etc. We're going to need sponsors. We have $30,000, which seems like a lot, but in retrospect, looking at that $20,000 was spent at the Centennial, we have a challenging budget to work with. Okay. And then we'd like you to share your ideas. That basically this evening was brought together again as a brainstorming group, and to let you know what we have planned, what ideas our team thought were great, but that we can't bring on and manage ourselves, and to get you thinking about how you would like to plug in and be part of our 150-year celebration. Because again, we want to make it an entire year event and have that one culminating weekend, but certainly things happening, beyond that. Again, we'll be still celebrating 150 years at our Holiday Fest in 2019. So thank you so much for coming tonight. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can use my email, tinacw@portland-michigan.org, and I can pull your ideas and information together to share with the team. You can reach out to any team member, Mayor Jim Barnes, Kathy Parsons, Sarah Badger or Fawn Morris with the Chamber, Marjorie Briggs, Mike Judd, Margaret Sheffer with Historical Society, or your very own council member, Mandy Johnston. Again, thank you for attending this evening.